So millions of people tuned in to watch the face-off on Idols between Karabo and Mmatema in the last week. The season made history, a grand total of 78.8 million votes. Now, the big secret, of course, of Idols is that if you vote, you have to pay for that vote. R1.50 per SMS vote. That makes Idols a good business. If viewers voted by SMS, that would have equated to 118 million rand. But few have considered what really is the money behind the show. This is the MoneyMakers. Tonight, we look here at exactly what it is all about with Yolisa Phahle, who is the Chief Executive of Mnet South Africa, and what it means for investors in Naspers. Ultimately, it means very little for investors in Naspers, because 128 million rand, or whatever the number is not 10 cent.
It's not.
But Mnet's got to wash its face, right?
Well, yes, Mnet does have to wash its face, and predominantly, we provide channels to DSTV, and they actually make money through two main means, primarily subscription and secondarily through advertising. So we are actually seen as a cost centre at Mnet, yeah. But I think the important thing is that somehow the investment in the show needs to bring good returns. And
Idols, how 10 years old in South Africa? How long has it been?
Yeah, so we were on season 11, so it's actually past the 10-year mark in South Africa. But I mean, as many people probably remember, the show started on Mnet. It was a premium show only, and it's only really in the last 3 or 4 years that our Mzansi Magic viewers and really the majority of subscribers have been able to see the show.
No, but that's the big difference as well. I mean, the early days of Hein and all of those guys, I mean, the early days of Idols, very exclusive, very small club of individuals who could vote. Opening it up is a financial strategy, really, because more viewers, more voters, more mobile devices, and up to 100 votes per person per time, per candidate, that's good money.
In theory, that's good money, but the interesting thing about the majority of votes we receive on Idols is that most of them are actually free votes. So, for example,
that's
if you
disappointing for you.
I know. Well, the thing is for us, it's not. I mean, this isn't our primary objective isn't to make money. Our primary objective is to get viewers and to give value to our subscribers. And if we do that well, then we make money in other ways. So we actually found that by making providing free voting platforms, and WeChat is a free voting platform.
A Naspers business.
A Naspers business. Yeah, we improve the audience numbers because people become much more engaged with something that they are actively thinking about and kind of spending their free time away from the television casting their votes. So at one time, these kind of shows did generate substantial revenues, but as time has gone on, we actually have found that it's not really in the interest of the show to try and make money from people through SMS charges.
Okay, so actually, are you making less money now in terms of the voting process than you did 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah, so we actually make less money in terms of the voting than we did before. But the thing is, as I say, that isn't our primary. Our primary objective is just to get the biggest audiences, you see. And every year, this show continues to grow. So, for example, this year we have an average of 1.8 million people tuning in. You know, by the end of the series.
That? I mean, traditional AMPS research, for example, is survey-based, but you're giving us figures within days of the final. How do you know?
So we actually do use AMPS to some degree, but we also have our own ratings system, which has been devised especially for DSTVI, and it's really quite simple. We have a representative sample of the audience. They have boxes in their houses that have a return path, so we're actually able to track what people are watching. So if you get a representative sample, you can actually scale that thing up and get very accurate data very quickly as well, because as we know, AMPS is pretty retrospective. This data can come in within 24 hours. So really for us, we're a pay TV operator, and free TV is pretty good. So if you want subscribers, you've got to give people stuff they can't get for free, and it's got to be stuff that has real value. So our focus at Mnet is really not on the number of SMSs we receive, because we don't make the money from that. Our focus is, are people engaged? Are people talking about the show? And to that degree, this has been an incredible season. I mean, 78 million votes, that's engagement.
That's engagement, and that level of engagement also is attractive to advertisers. Advertisers have a look at that and say there are people people engaging with the show. Let's get our products into that space that you provide through the show. But the Idols concept, is it running out of steam? It's dead in the United States. I think Simon Cowell is keeping it going in the United Kingdom.
Yes. Well, the thing is that Idols is not a new format anymore. So as I said earlier, we've had 11 seasons in South Africa. So in some markets, I think it is running out of steam. But for Mzansi Magic, which really is where our biggest audience sits today as DSTV, it's really only 3 or 4 years in to the they didn't watch it. They didn't see seasons 1 to 8 or 9. This is a new concept for a new audience. So yes, in the US, I can quite understand that new formats like X Factor bring a lot more excitement and a lot more novelty. And also, I think for our Mnet audience, we are looking, as many people will know, we actually are bringing The Voice. That is the biggest musical reality format in the world. And our premium subscribers will enjoy seeing a local version of The Voice. They've enjoyed the international version over the years. So it was definitely time for something new for premium subscribers. But looking at the ratings from Mzansi Magic and the response, I think there's hopefully a couple more years of life left in Idols.
Which is good news, frankly,
Yes.
especially for Gareth Cliff. We'd be delighted. But give me a sense then of other formats, because South Africa, you go straight from Idols and into Carte Blanche, and Carte Blanche is absolutely wonderful. It's premium journalism. Boy, it can get you down. So it's like living in South Africa on a daily basis, from elation to depression in a nanosecond. Not reality TV isn't everybody's cup of tea, but it does tend to be quite uplifting.
Well, I think that's the thing. I mean, I think that there is a place for everything, and I think that too much of anything, can become boring and can become tedious. I mean, obviously, Carte Blanche is a flagship program for Mnet. It was a program that originated from, almost 30 years ago now, when Mnet first launched. And, so on one hand, a lot of the stories are slightly or extremely concerning, but on the other hand, I think the intention behind the show is something that viewers appreciate, because basically it is a show there to inform the public and to give the public knowledge and information that will hopefully help them.
It's courageous, and it's absolutely right, and it's been in that premium spot ever since I can remember. I don't think it's ever moved from that slot. But is there scope for more reality TV in South Africa, more light than The Shade, perhaps?
Well, I think there is, if you look at some of the productions we do perhaps on CakeNet or on Mzansi Magic, there is a lot more reality there. And one of the things that I've sort of made a key focus area at Mnet is for us actually to develop our own formats. So it's fantastic to be able to, enjoy the benefits of an Idols or The Voice or MasterChef, all of which are international formats. And when you're talking financially, that means they come at a higher price. It means they come with rights restrictions.
But they're developed, they're tested,
they're developed and
they're
tested and they work. But what we've actually managed to do over the last couple of years is actually develop formats for ourselves, which when you actually do that return on investment calculation, these shows actually, in some cases bring higher ratings. So I don't know, we've got a wedding show on Mzansi Magic called Our Perfect Wedding. It is our own format. It brings the most incredible ratings. And because it's our format, we can repeat that content as much as we want, and we can schedule it on other channels. So those are the things we're thinking about.
Do we have exportable formats? I mean, the Australians have been terribly good at developing formats. Simon Cowell has been very good at developing the Idol format and others. Can we export these formats? We need as much export as we can get, frankly.
Do you know something? I actually think we seriously can export some of these formats. We haven't, as these economic headwinds continue to sort of blow, I think every business is looking at how to increase revenues and how to, perhaps reduce costs so that they can continue basically to run and deliver to shareholders. So for me, looking at exporting some of these formats is a serious reality. We have had a couple of shows on CakeNet, which I think have been replicated in the Netherlands. So it definitely makes sense.
And with the threats of more streamed content coming towards South Africa. Not everybody is happy to pay $800 a month for DSTV subscription. You get this show. I don't know why everyone's not happy about it. You get Idols as well, all thrown in for just $800. It's really worth it. But there is a threat coming, and that threat comes from the likes of Sharemax, which is not Sharemax, Showmax, which comes out of the Naspers stable as well, based in Dubai, and there's an interesting format coming through there. Virtually everybody. I mean, the guys at Altron tried, and they've packed up already. There are going to be lots of failures in this particular space, but that's got to be keeping you awake.
Well, it does keep us awake at night, but I think, you know, with every threat, they always say there's an opportunity. And I think that really, you know, what we see more and more and more is that, yes, you know, the platforms will change, and yes, people's behaviour will change, but ultimately there will always be a need, and there seems to be a continuing need for relevant and resonant content. So for me at Mnet, my job is to make sure that we continue to produce this relevant and sort of resonant content, so that we actually will get the eyeballs, you know. So we do have, you can watch our television channels on our mobile apps. You can watch them on your PC. We do, of course, now have Showmax as well. So we are looking to the future whilst still trying to run a business which seems in South Africa and in Africa, obviously with the lack of broadband infrastructure, still to have a lot of life there. But yes, there are lots of things that keep us awake. But I think if you focus on producing great content, I mean, we look at Netflix now. They started as a platform, but now they are a producer.
It's extraordinary. They're producing great shows. Absolutely great shows. We've got economic growth in South Africa this year of 1% and a bit. Next year, really not better. If anything, we could go into recession in 2016. How are advertisers holding up in the world of paid television?
Well, interestingly, advertising in pay TV, and particularly at DSTV, is holding up extremely well. And I think, you know, in some ways, when there are economic tough times, people actually have no alternative but to spend their time at home. So in one way, you know, we worry because obviously we are a luxury product and people have many priorities.
You take a family of 4 out for a meal once, or you can have a month's worth of TV
at home. So, you know, in that way, I think advertisers actually sometimes see audiences increasing during tough times. So maybe that's one reason why the sort of TV advertising market still seems to be holding up. But I think, you know, again, we have to worry about what's going to happen when broadband really becomes freely available, because if you look in the rest of the world, the share of advertising is moving very swiftly. You know, the Googles and the Facebooks, we don't have exact numbers, they don't report in South Africa at the moment, but we know that people are finding what they offer to be very economical and cost-effective ways of reaching large amounts of people in a very targeted
You're just going to have to work harder.
I'm going to have to work harder.
There we go. That's the only way to do it, I'm afraid. Yolisa Phahle, who is Chief Executive of Mnet South Africa. Fascinating insights into the world of idols and what makes idols work, and of course spreading out throughout the rest of the channel and the content that is provided. And of course it is all about eyeballs, and it's getting advertisers to pay for those eyeballs too. Thank you for watching The MoneyMakers. We'll bring you more interesting ways that people are making money tomorrow. Till then, bye-bye for now.